Please be sure to silence all cell phones. The ceremony will begin shortly. Good morning, and welcome to the Navy Supply Corps School's Basic Supply Officer Course, 1st Battalion Graduation Ceremony. Please stand for the arrival of the official party, the playing of the National Anthem, and the invocation. Navy Supply Corps School, arriving. Rear Admiral, United States Navy, retired, arriving. Color Guard, parade the colors.
Colors, forward, march! Colors, hold! Colors, present arms!
guard. Retire the colors.
Colors, right, face. Forward, march.
Side boys, post.
Side by side. Side boys. Left or right. Face. Forward. March.
Chaplain 4 will now offer the invocation.
Let us pray. Lord of hosts, we come before you today not in the shelter of peace, but on the threshold of combat operations. And these graduates of the United States Navy Supply Corps do not step into an abstract future. They step into a contested world where the Strait of Hormuz burns with tension, where American warships hold the line, and where the readiness of the fleet is measured not in exercises but in outcomes. These are not administrators of surplus. They are warriors of sustainment, the ones who guarantee that when the order comes, the magazine is full, the fuel is flowing, and the mission does not falter for want of what only they can provide. Sovereign God, grant them now what training cannot fully give: the composure to lead when the pressure is relentless, the judgment to act when the stakes are real, and the strength to carry the weight of others without breaking. Temper them in the tradition of those who came before, who kept the fleet fighting. From the cold waters of the North Atlantic, to the jungles of the Pacific, to the sands of the Persian Gulf, and now to these contested seas where freedom of navigation must be defended. And let them know that every correct decision they make, every accurate forecast, and every properly staged pallet is an act of courage, as real and as vital as any other, in war or peace. And so God, bless these graduates and their families for their devotion to our nation. Protect them wherever they go. Amen.
Military, uncover. 2. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce the commanding officer of the Navy Supply Corps School, Captain Richie Jenkins.
Good morning, everyone, and happy spring. Today is the first day of spring, and 3 weeks ago in Newport, Rhode Island, you would have never known the spring was around the corner as we took a record snowfall. But it's a beautiful morning, and so glad to see so many of you here, the families and the friends of those professionals that sit before us. We're going to certify them ready for sea today and send them to the fleet, prepared and ready to go fight if needed. Thanks for Lieutenant Nicholas, wonderful MC duties. Thank you for stepping in this morning. Proud South Carolina Gamecock, I might add. Welcome to the Vice Admiral Wheeler Center. This facility we've been training at since 2011. Before that, we trained for over 50 years in Athens, Georgia. The Vice Admiral Wheeler's name adorns the building, and he serves as inspiration for us. He was a prisoner of war in World War II and proudly wore the oak leaf to the rank of Vice Admiral. So we're proud of this facility, so thanks for all of you for being here today. This morning, students from the 1st Battalion Basic Supply Officer course will be graduated and certified ready for sea. As Chaplain 4's prayer indicated, there's a lot of conflict going on around the globe, and these men and women are going to ships, submarines, air units that could very well see action, and you'll be in our thoughts and prayers as you take this training to the fleet where it's needed. I'd like to thank the Color Guard this morning for wonderful parading of the colors. I'd also like to thank BM2 Dufour and the Side Boys. Nothing speaks of a Navy tradition like the bell, the pipe, and the Side Boys to mark a professional ceremony. For our students of 2nd Battalion, thank you for your hard work and dedication in helping set the event up. There's always the cast that's behind the scenes doing the heavy lifting, so thank you for those students of 2nd Battalion. MU1 Honeycutt and Northeast Band, thank you for being here. It's always better to have a live band than a video tape recorded as well, so thank you for being here. And the Northeast Navy Band is spectacular, and they do a lot of professional engagements. I'd also like to recognize several important leaders in this area. And the first is my boss, Captain Dana Chapin, the commanding officer of the Center for Service Support, a great supporter of what we're doing at the Navy Supply Corps School. She also owns the School of Music, by the way. And so she's first time visiting us for graduation. Thank you for being here, Captain Chapin. I'd also like to highlight Captain Charles Versoja, the CEO right next door of the Navy Chaplaincy School. And Chaplain Versoja will be ending his tenure here next week and ending his career in the Navy. Sir, thank you for your service and your inspiration to us all. We're the second oldest staff corps in the Navy. The Supply Corps is, behind only the chaplains. The Navy Supply Corps is 231 years old, and the chaplains have been around at least 250. So they're our staff corps brothers and sisters that meet our spiritual needs. So thank you, chaps, for being here. Captain Eric Lockett. Captain Lockett is a mentor of one of our students. Was pretty instrumental in him getting through OCS and now through the Navy Supply Corps School. And Captain Lockett is up from DLA Distribution in Norfolk, Virginia, where he is in command of that organization. It's a large organization, very complex. And as we talked about, power projection begins with organizations like DD, Norfolk, and other distribution points around the world where we can project power through sustainment. I'd also like to highlight a few guests who always support us at the Navy Supply Corps School. We're grateful for their support. Dean Rob Wenig from the Military Officers Association of America. Dean Wenig also is the Dean of the Naval Command College at the War College here locally, but also supports and represents the MOA organization. Walt Wazowski with the Navy League, Newport chapter. Navy League is a phenomenal organization that supports the sea services, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, and both of those gentlemen will be up on stage for a little bit to give a few of our students awards this morning. Mr. Brian Walker from National Industries from Blind, and Captain retired Eddie Fishburne. Captain Fishburne was a former XO of the Navy Supply Corps School, now is the chief executive for our foundation, and a great storyteller, I might add. So if you get a chance to get a story from Captain Fishburne, I hope you get a chance to corner him before he leaves this afternoon. But thanks and welcome back, Eddie, for being here. I'd also like to acknowledge Mr. Howard Merritt, who's a friend of our guest speaker this morning. Mr. Merritt, former supply officer, longtime friend of Rear Admiral McNeal. So welcome back to the Supply Corps School. My wife Taffy and I, this is our last graduation, so it's a little sad for us. These have come and gone so fast, I can't even explain. So it's a special honor to be here, graduating my final battalion today. So, and we welcome you here. We welcome the families here, especially the unsung heroes of the service that these men and women, these professionals are embarking upon. And we just simply couldn't do it without your love and support. We know the value that families bring. We know the value that our friendship networks bring. And some of you, perhaps many of you, are veterans yourselves. And I would like to invite you to stand right now for the families and friends in the audience who wore the uniform past, in which we take, go ahead, please. We want to give you a round of applause, so please stand. And thank you for your service and for being here. Thank you for your service and for being here to support these professionals today. And I know you're as proud of them as we are. So your service really inspires us, and we once a week hold quarters in this room and we recite the Sailor's Creed. One of those lines in the Sailor's Creed is, those that are going before us to defend freedom and democracy around the world. And it's very important that we honor you here today. So I'm going to talk briefly about the mission of the Navy Supply Corps School, but because I think it's very acute, it's very relevant for what you're seeing today. Our mission at the Navy Supply Corps is quite simple and straightforward, even though we like to emphasize that the art of logistics, the art of what Chaplain 4 highlighted in his prayer, the fuel, the ordnance, the spare parts, the hazardous material, the transportation that transports those classes of supply to the point of need, all the authorities and capabilities of the entire naval logistics network comes into play here. And that's what you're seeing today, naval forces around the world actually able to execute operations because of what men and women like you are going to be doing and are doing today. Our mission is to develop professional supply officers and logisticians ready to lead, fight, and win. And this isn't more, this was recently highlighted by the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, actually, as Operation Epic Fury kicked off. He highlighted the unsung heroes, the logisticians that deliver when needed. And obviously with distributed maritime operations going on in the Middle East, the last few years in the Eastern Mediterranean and the Red Sea, and the naval competition that's going on in the Indo-Pacific, there's no better time to be a logistician. You will be making a difference. Every day our Navy depends on the Supply Corps officers to perform their duties effectively, utilizing the knowledge, skills, and abilities that they have gained while here at the Navy Supply Corps School. We highlight this often. Learning is a lifetime endeavor. This isn't the end, it's actually the beginning. This is the springboard of your professional learning as you go to the fleet and you hit the waterfront, you step on board your ships, and you get actually education and training through your wardrooms, through your chief's messes, by your sailors, and you get to use the knowledge that you've gained here as well. We emphasize logistics effectiveness given the increasing threats we face today. And the maritime domain is front and center in the intensifying competition that we all see in the headlines today. So family and friends and shipmates, I assure you, these officers are ready to go. They're ready to go to the fleet. They've been trained hard. They've gone through disruptions over the last 6 months, a 43-day government shutdown that took our civilians off station, another 2 or 3 day government shutdown, a record storm. All those were disruptions, and you fought and were resilient through it all. And now you get to take that resiliency to the fleet. I am extremely proud of our staff for the reasons I just mentioned. They are the center of gravity for our schoolhouse. They are the ones that literally are inside the classroom, in their offices, meeting with these logistics professionals, conducting the administrative work that we have to run a schoolhouse properly, conducting the staff support function, the public affairs function, the student control functions that all have to work in order for classes to be executed on time, on schedule, and in a manner that gets you in the door and out in 6 months so you can go enjoy your tactical unit of action. So I'd like to ask my staff to stand, instructors, support staff, so we can give you a round of applause. This is... As you can see, it's not a large team, but they carry an outsized role in the effect and the impact that they have in the lives of our students cannot be overstated. So we're really proud of them, and as I stated, through disruptions over the last 6 months, they fought through that with a lot of pride, professionalism, and we're thankful that they're back with us and we're continuing on with our training. So very proud of our staff. At this time, I would like to introduce our guest speaker for today, Rear Admiral James McNeal. He's a 1986 graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy. His assignments while on active duty included Defense Logistics Agency, Fleet Industrial Supply Centers, which we now call Fleet Logistics Centers, training officer, Naval Special Warfare Command. Did you train with the SEALs, sir? All right. Here we go. He trained with the Navy SEALs while there. Division Officer, Naval Regional Contracting Command, Supply Officer, Submarine Base, San Diego. And while in uniform, he also held several command positions that included 5th Navy Expeditionary Logistics Regiment, Navy Reserve, Naval Supply Systems Command, Logistics Operations Center, Navy Cargo Handling Battalion 5, Navy Expeditionary Logistics Support, which is headquartered down in Williamsburg, Virginia, Defense Contingency Support Team Kuwait, and then he led quite a large organization in San Diego, NAVSUP Global Logistics Support, that's no longer in service, but obviously made a huge impact as all the global fleet logistics centers reported to him in that last command assignment. He's a leader that's demonstrated the range that we talk about that's key for a supply corps officer to have throughout their careers. Afloat, he served on USS Constellation, CV-64, and USS Merrill DD-976, and was the supply officer for SEAL Team 1. So quite an impressive resume, and sir, it's an honor to have you come and speak with us today. So please join me in a round of applause for Rear Admiral James McNeal.
All right, really excited to be here. Richie, thank you for that great introduction. One of the things I learned about bios, if you hang around long enough, you end up with a very impressive sounding bio. And that's definitely the case in my situation. So first thing I want to address is, why is there a retiree here speaking? And if you want someone to blame me, because I invited myself. So when my last job, I was commander of GLS, and I had a lot of 06s that worked for me, and one of them was Ken Epps, who's now the chief of the Supply Corps. So I texted Ken, and I said, hey, I don't know if this is a thing, but I would love to talk at the Supply Corps School graduation in March. And then I didn't hear anything from him, so I said, well, I guess it's not a thing. And about a week later, Richie texted me and said, hey, would you like to be heard you're going to be the speaker? And I said, yes, I'd love to. So that's why I'm here, and I'm really excited. And what's really great here, with all the support from the base and instructors and all the stuff that Richie talked about, the families. The fact that the families are here and sharing in this special occasion means a lot to the students and officers here for sure. And speaking of Richie, he mentioned everybody but himself. And one of the things that I've discovered during my time is when something goes really smooth and something looks easy, it's inversely proportional to the hard work that took to make it happen. And that just doesn't happen. And yes, there were a lot of people that did a lot of things, but someone has to lead that group. And Captain Jenkins is that leader. So how about a round of applause for Captain Jenkins? All right, so this is March 20th is a special day in my life because March 20th of 1987 was the day I reported to the USS Constellation. And where are my carrier? I know we have a few carrier people out there. Where are those hands? Okay. All right, so pay attention to this, all right? So one of the things they told us at Supply Corps School is when you report to your ship, it's a big deal, and you want to make sure you do it correctly. So there's a brow, so you're going to walk up that brow. You need to find out where the back end, the flat end of the ship is, and the pointy end. And the back flat end is where the ensign is, and then you're going to stop halfway on the brow, and you're going to turn, and you're going to salute it, and then you're going to walk up and request permission to come aboard. And that's your first impression on the ship. So I was ready to go, and I parked, and I walked up to the Constellation, and there were a couple problems. One, there's two brows. So that was problem one. Problem two was, which is the pointy end and which is the flat end? So I stood there, it seemed like hours, probably minutes, and I didn't know what to do. And then luckily, the lieutenant commander walked by, and so like a mother duck and a little duckling, I just tucked myself right behind him and followed him on the ship and to the right brow and did everything that he did, and I got on the ship okay, and I guess the rest is history. So you carrier guys and gals, make sure you understand which is the pointy end and which is the flat end. The other important date was 2 weeks before I reported the Constellation, so March 6, 1987, I graduated from Supply Corps School, and as I told the students yesterday, I have no recollection of that day whatsoever. My car, what I do remember is my car was parked or packed with all my stuff, and I walked out, and I got in my car and I drove west to San Diego. So I don't remember anything about it. In fact, I kept the program from that day to see who the guest speaker was. It was the chief of the Supply Corps, not this. So I guess it was a bigger deal back then. But my point of all that is that a lot of you are not going to remember anything about this day when you look back on this in your career. So I have very, very modest goals today. So what I'm hoping is that one person in the audience takes one thing I say and uses it in their first tour. Okay? So if somebody does that, then I think that that's going to be a win for me. So I'm going to take that as a win. All right. So what I want to talk about is really what I see as kind of the three jobs of a supply officer. And the number one job that we have is we're customer service managers. We are in charge of customer service. Okay? We are a staff corps, as Captain Jenkins said. We are a staff corps. We are, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, we are overhead. Okay? We do not fly the planes. We do not drive the ships. We do not put knives in our teeth and go and kill people like the SEALs. We don't do any of that. That's not our role. Okay? Our role is customer service. And because of that, that needs to be our focus. Okay? So when you look at these people on your ships and squadrons and submarines and all that, those are your customers. The entire command is your customer. And you have to have a customer service attitude. And it's probably too late now, but if you don't feel that way, you're probably in the wrong line of work. Okay? And it's very, very important that your people understand that as well. Okay? Our customers are not a pain. Now, they may be a pain, but they're not a pain. We exist because of our customers. Okay? I had a young DK3 on my first ship on the Constellation who was complaining to one of his friends about this particular sailor who was complaining about his pay being messed up and how much of a hassle it was for him and blah, 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 blah. And I overheard this and I went out there. Now we're in the middle of Indian Ocean, so there's not a lot we can do, and I'm dating myself because there was no direct deposit back then, so we had to do allotments with checks and things like that. And I said, okay, this guy that you're complaining about, what's his situation? Well, he's got a wife and kids. Okay, and what's happening? Well, his pay's messed up and his wife and kids aren't getting any money. And I said, okay, do you think that's a problem? You think that's a problem? Because I know if it was my wife and kids, that'd be a problem. And he hadn't looked at it that way. And he was a great kid. He just hadn't looked at it that way. He was looking at it too much of being a job. Okay, so customer service has to start with you. Okay, so that's number one. And then the little caveat, and I know we have some line people in here, just because we're in the customer service business, don't let people push you around. Okay, and I mean that figuratively. Do not let them do not let your customers try to bully you, look down upon you. Hey, you're a supply officer, I'm a pilot, so you have to do, no. Okay? We serve them, but we serve them professionally and respectfully. And we serve them to the best of our ability. But that doesn't mean we let people walk all over us. Okay? All right. Second thing, we are the business managers of the Navy. That is our job. We're the ones that understand the rules, we understand the regulations, we understand everything. Okay? And am I allowed to talk about Fat Leonard? Well, I guess I just did. So Fat Leonard was a huge stain on the Navy, huge stain on the Supply Corps. And for those who say, oh, I haven't heard about that, and maybe it wasn't that a big deal, call John Ewan, who was the chief of the Supply Corps for 5 years, and ask him how much of his time as a chief in 5 years he spent doing with Fat Leonard stuff, because I was right there beside him, and it was a lot. Okay? And there's a lot of reasons why that happened, but one of them was supply officers forgot what their job was. Their job as a business managers. We're the ones that are supposed to know the rules. We're the ones that are supposed to enforce the rules. We're the ones that say, hey, you can't do that. We're not supposed to be one of the boys. We're not pilots. We're not, like I said, we're not those type people. We're the business managers of the Navy. We're the ones that have to be the rule keepers, okay? And what we should be is the senior business advisor to our CO. And what do I mean by that? If you go into the civilian world, a CEO has a CPA that they get financial advice from. They have an attorney that they get legal advice from. That's the role that we need to have. And I'll give you a great example of that. Melissa's predecessor, Jen Charlton, I met her when she was lieutenant on the USS Michigan, and it was one of the best examples I've ever seen of a relationship from a supply officer to a CO. Jen had all the respect of that captain. He loved her, but more than he loved her, he respected her. And he relied on her constantly for help and advice. In fact, we were eating lunch, and him and I were talking. Jen was all the way at the other end of the table, probably didn't want to be bothered. And the captain asked her a question, and she answered it respectfully and professionally and just went right back to what she was doing. And he took what she said, and he said, see, that's how it is. Okay? That's what our job should be. Okay? So customer service, business managers, and the last thing is we are naval officers first. Okay? And Cal will tell you as a former SWO, there's nothing more irritating to our customers when we pretend like we're not in the Navy, or we're not officers, or we're not part of the ship, or we're not part of the squadron. Okay? We are naval officers first. Okay? So you're going to be busy doing whatever you're doing, but you're part of that ship. And as soon as you try to say, well, yeah, I don't know about all that, that's SWO stuff. Okay, all that's going to do is make people irritated at you. Okay? And I got a big dose of that on my first ship where almost everybody in the ship felt that way. All the supply department felt that way. And I just couldn't understand it. Because it's not, we're not on a cruise ship. We're not just hanging out, right? We're part of the crew. We're part of the ship. So get integrated in the ship. And if you're trying to get your pin and all that, which I guess everybody has to do now, right? Not going to go great if you're not part of the ship and you say, oh, by the way, sign this off for me, right? But beyond the pin issue, you should be trying to be part of that ship, okay? Because you are part of that ship. And when the stuff hits the fan, it doesn't matter what designator you are, right? You're part of the ship. You're on that team, okay? The other thing is you have to lead your people. Okay, and this is the other thing I've seen supply officers do. Oh, I'm so busy with this. Yeah, I'd love to counsel this person, or I'd love to do my midterm counseling, but I'm too busy. I got to go do an inventory. Okay, there's a reason the supply officer is the best officers in the Navy. There's a reason for that. The reason is we have the most to do. Right? I got violent agreement from the back row. Okay, we have our job to do. We're the business managers, customer service, accountability. All that stuff. Plus we're naval officers. Plus we stand some sort of watch, HCO sometimes, whatever. And we have to be leaders. That's why we're the best. So you can't shy away from that. You have to embrace it all. Okay? That's what this thing's all about. So it's not about, hey, I'm a supply officer first, you're a naval officer first, and you're a leader. And our people deserve great leadership. Okay? Because they work their butts off just like we do. All right. So my last, or before I went to Supply Corps school, I was TAD at a research lab in Carter Rock, Maryland, for about 7 weeks. I was in the photo and video lab. Long story how I got there. Anyway, so I was checking out, getting ready to go down to Athens, and I had my not observed fit rep. And I went to see the XO, and the XO was an LDO commander. So minimum, he had what? Probably 25 years in the Navy. He seemed to be about 1 million years old to me. Been in the Navy longer than I've been alive, and very intimidating. And we had about, he was a big guy in small talk, so we had about 30 seconds of small talk. And then he said, hey, I just want to give you a little bit of advice. You don't have to listen to me. He said, but there's 2 types of supply officers that I've met in my time in the Navy, and you need to decide which one you're going to be. And I'm not going to tell you which one you're going to be. You need to decide that. And he said, you need to decide if you're going to be a supply officer who searches for yes, or you're a supply officer that searches for no. And I never forgot that. All right, so I'd like to end with something that my dad told me before Howie and I headed to NAPS almost 45 years ago. And this is something that his dad told him almost 70 years ago before he went to the Naval Academy. And that is, don't make us proud. We're already proud. Keep us proud. So 1st Battalion, fair winds and following seas, and keep us proud. Thank you.
At every graduation, we take time to recognize those individuals who distinguish themselves with extraordinary effort throughout their time at the Navy Supply Corps School. Please hold your applause until all awardees have been recognized. Ensign Keith Schultz, please come forward. Ensign Keith Schultz, reporting to the USS Ramage DDG 61 in Mayport, Florida, is the recipient of the Supply Management Excellence Award. This award is presented for the highest grade in the Supply Management course. Ensign Schultz, thank you. Ensign Amoy Barnes, please come forward. Ensign Amoy Barnes, reporting to LCS 28 USS Savannah in San Diego, California, is the recipient of the Navy Exchange Service Command Ship Store Award. This award is given for the highest grade in the Retail Operations course. Ensign Barnes, thank you. Ensign Adam Zuniga, please come forward. Ensign Adam Zuniga, reporting to the USS Virginia, SSN 774 in Groton, Connecticut, is the recipient of the Scott Spencer Food Service Excellence Award. This award is given for the highest grade in the Food Service course. Ensign Zuniga, thank you. Ensign Luka Schwarz, please come forward. Ensign Luka Schwarz, reporting to the USS Washington, SSN 787 in Norfolk, Virginia, is the recipient of the Foundations Excellence Award. This award is presented for the highest grade in the Foundations course. Ensign Schwartz, thank you. Ensign Mariegold Aloria, please come forward. Ensign Mariegold Aloria, reporting to DDG 110 USS William P. Lawrence in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, is the recipient of the Defense Finance and Accounting Service Excellence Award. This award is presented for the highest grade in the Dispersing Management course. Ensign Aloria, thank you. Ensign Amoy Barnes, please come forward. Commander Retired Walter Wazowski, on behalf of the Newport Navy League, will now present the Navy League Honor, Courage, and Commitment Award. This award is presented to the student officer chosen by the staff who best demonstrates the Navy Corps values. Ensign Barnes, thank you. Captain Retired Robert Winnig will now present the Military Officers Association of America Professionalism Award. This award is presented to the student officer chosen by the staff who best demonstrates the enduring values of true patriotism, strong moral ethics, and a commitment for achieving outstanding accomplishments. Ensign Maria Rojas, please come forward. Ensign Maria Rojas, reporting to BN-01, Naval Base Cartagena, is a recipient of the Military Officers Association of America Professionalism Award. Ensign Rojas, thank you. Captain Retired Edward Fishburne, on behalf of the Navy Supply Corps Foundation, will now present the Leadership Awards. These awards are presented to Supply Corps officers chosen by staff who have demonstrated unmatched servant leadership while being an exemplary leader within the classroom and the community.
Well, good morning. I'm a storyteller, as you heard. Some of them are actually true. So if I talk to you, you'll never know which ones are true. But just want to say a few words, and thank you for the opportunity to say these words on behalf of the Navy Supply Corps Foundation and its Board of Directors. As was said, I'm Eddie Fishburne. I'm the chairman of the Navy Supply Corps Foundation, and incidentally, I was the XO of Supply Corps School way back in the day in Athens, Georgia, from 1988 to 1991, so right after you were there. First of all, congratulations to all the Supply Corps officers graduating. This is actually a very significant achievement and milestone in your career. You've worked hard. I know you drank from the fire hydrant, and now you're going to get out there and be able to execute. And you'll do great, trust me. The Navy Supply Corps Foundation is especially proud of all of you as you prepare to depart for your first assignments. I want to take a moment to introduce you to what the Supply Corps Foundation is all about. You may not be familiar with it, but hopefully you'll get engaged while you're in the fleet. So, the Navy Supply Corps Foundation is a nonprofit, philanthropic, and social organization. Our mission is to provide programs and services to support the Navy Supply Corps community and promote its heritage and traditions. Every person who's ever served as a Supply Corps officer and worn the oak leaf is automatically a lifetime member in the foundation, and there's no dues, although I will ask you for money. So whether you're graduating today or served 4 years or 40 years, you're a member of the foundation and will always be a member of the foundation. For more than 50 years, the foundation has focused on fostering the history, traditions, and growth of the Supply Corps community. We do this through scholarships for families, career transition programs, mentorship, and connections to a global network of Supply Corps professionals. We have 38 chapters around the globe offering camaraderie, community engagement, and professional and social networking. I urge you to get involved wherever your career takes you. It's the way to stay close to the Supply Corps. The foundation also recognizes former Navy Supply Corps officers who, after military service, have distinguished careers in the public and private sector and who credit their Supply Corps experience as the basis for further professional achievements. These distinguished alumni include names you may recognize. Bill Marriott of the Marriott Corporation was a Supply Corps officer. Leonard Lauder of the Estee Lauder makeup fame, that family, he's a former Supply Corps officer. And Roger Staubach, quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of you are probably too young to even know, but Roger Staubach's a former Supply Corps officer. And then Carl Liebert, who served as a staff officer at Supply Corps School, was a basketball player at the Naval Academy. David Robinson's roommate is also a Supply Corps officer and one of our distinguished alums. Additionally, the two founding members of the highly successful Carlyle Group, a global investment management firm, are both former Supply Corps officers and recognized as distinguished alums. The foundation exists to ensure these officers graduating today have the resources and support to succeed, not just in uniform, but throughout your careers and your careers in and after the Navy. The foundation proudly sponsors 2 leadership awards given to each graduating class. The foundation, the awards for the recipients today are from Alpha Company, Ensign Yvonne Pretlow, and the Bravo Company, Ensign Justin Dela Cruz. We also provide each graduate with a special book entitled Ready for Sea, The History of the U.S. Navy Supply Corps, and we sponsor the graduation reception as well as the graduation social that many of you attended this morning. Again, congratulations for those graduating today, and especially as you begin your career ready for sea. Make the most of it. Thank you for allowing me to make these remarks on behalf of the Navy Supply Corps Foundation and the Board of Directors. Thank you.
Ensign Yvonne Pretlow, please come forward. Ensign Yvonne Pretlow reporting to DDG 107 USS Gravely in Norfolk, Virginia, is Alpha Company's recipient of the Navy Supply Corps Foundation Award. Ensign Pretlow, thank you. Ensign Justin De La Cruz, please come forward. Ensign Justin De La Cruz, Naval Special Warfare Group 1, Coronado, California, is Bravo Company's recipient of the Navy Supply Corps Foundation Leadership Award. Ensign De La Cruz, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we now invite Mr. Brian Walker of National Industries for the Blind to award the BSOC Honor Graduate. The Honor Graduate demonstrated excellence in the classroom across all curricula, achieving the highest overall academic average.
Morning, NCSC leadership, distinguished guests, family, friends, and the men and women of the graduating class. I'm grateful to have this opportunity to speak with you today, and it's an honor to participate in this ceremony. Representing National Industries for the Blind, or NIB, as part of the Building One program. To the family, friends, and fellow servicemen and women of this graduating class, you must be so very proud of your graduates. At National Industries for the Blind, our mission is simple and singular: to enrich the lives of people who are blind through meaningful employment. Our goal is to enhance the personal economic independence of people who are blind by creating and sustaining improving employment opportunities. And the Navy and the Department of War play a crucial role in achieving that mission. NIB's mission is tied directly to you who are graduating today because we have been supporting each other for more than 7 decades. NIB's mission was launched in 1938, just after the Great Depression, when President Roosevelt signed into law the Javits-Wagner-O'Day Act. It was that act that created what we call today the U.S. Ability One program, a program that offers full workforce participation to all people regardless of their perceived abilities. The Ability One program controls what is called the Federal Procurement List, which catalogs thousands of mandatory source products and services in support of the Department of War. Through this important government program, more than 5,000 individuals who are blind are gainfully employed. We have a long-standing relationship with the Navy, and specifically the Supply Corps, because it will be all of you who purchase our products and services. In fact, the Navy accounts for more than 15% of the sales in our program and continues to create jobs for people who are blind for our many product and service lines of business. Many of you may know us by the brand name Skillcraft. And yes, we make the official government pen, so many of you know. It's a pen that can write a mile, write upside down, can perform a tracheotomy, and never fails apparently. We also sew many of your uniforms, assemble shipboard fire hoses, close out tens of thousands of contracts, staff call centers, manufacture the mattresses on board your ships. I'm sorry. And yes, we even compress the toilet paper that is used on many of your ships when you deploy. I want to highlight one of the employees who is blind who manufactures the Navy mattresses at LCI in Durham, North Carolina. His name is Derek Henderson. Derek lost his sight later in life 7 years ago. After owning a successful furniture moving company, he then started making Navy mattresses in March of 2022. He quickly became the top mattress producer on his team, making 35 Navy mattresses each day. And now he's also a trainer for one of the other employees within that mattress department. It is this job that allows him to provide for his wife, Tiffany, of 23 years, and his children and grandchildren. Several years ago, to recognize the important relationship and teamwork between the Navy and National Industries for the Blind, we began presenting a award each year to the class honor graduate. This award is to recognize not only their individual excellence and performance, but to inspire and encourage that individual and the entire graduating class to continue making a difference in the lives of people who are blind throughout your Navy Supply Corps career by choosing Ability One products. Without further delay, I would like to congratulate Ensign Mariegold Aloria on achieving the award of honor graduate, and would ask Ensign Aloria to please join me on stage.
Rear Admiral McNeal, Captain Jenkins, and Mr. Walker will now present the BSOC honor graduate.
It's a great honor today to present this sword to Ensign Mariegold Aloria.
Ensign Mariegold Aloria will now provide remarks on behalf of the BSOC graduates.
Rear Admiral McNeal, Captain Jenkins, distinguished officers, honored guests, proud families and friends, and my fellow graduates, good morning. It is truly an honor and a privilege to stand here today representing 1st Battalion. I would not be standing here without the knowledge, mentorship, and experiences shared by our instructors. To our class officers and instructors, thank you for investing your time, your patience, and your wisdom in all of us. To Afloat and the Dean, thank you for trusting our battalion to be part of the transition from BQC to BSOC. Being part of that change meant dealing with a lot of the unknowns, but those challenges made us better. They pushed us, shaped us, and prepared us for what lies ahead. To Captain Jenkins, thank you, sir, for instilling us the value of risk to mission. We inevitably ingrain this value as we fulfill our duties and responsibilities as officers of the United States Navy. I would also like to give a shout out to Warrant Officer Bobadilla. Jabo, thank you for the guidance you shared with the class, for teaching us when to stand and when to hit. One thing that stuck with me was the riskier the bet, the greater the reward. When I thought about it, I realized I've actually been applying that philosophy my naval career. For example, I don't know how to swim, but I joined the Navy. I was afraid of electricity because, well, it could kill you. Yet somehow, I enlisted as an electrician's mate. To be fair, that was actually my recruiter's idea. I spent 10 years as an electrician and then decided to take another leap and join the Supply Corps community. Looking back, my career has been a series of risky decisions that, by God's grace and hard work, worked out. But that's the point. Growth happens outside your comfort zone. If a 5'2" Filipina who couldn't swim can join the Navy, work with electricity, and end up standing here today, then I promise you, you are capable of more than you think. I could not have done this without the unwavering support of my family and friends and mentors throughout this journey. And finally, to 1st Battalion, thank you for the great memories we created along the way, for the camaraderie, the laughs, and making those snowstorms just a little more bearable. If the blizzard of 2026 couldn't stop us, the fleet definitely won't either. As we move forward, let's continue striving for excellence, because the real challenges are waiting for us. But so are the opportunities. Keep grinding, keep learning, keep pushing forward, and most importantly, just ride the waves. Sail and enjoy the journey. I would like to end this with a quote. A ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are for. And neither are you. Congratulations to us. Thank you.
Please join me in a round of applause for all of our awardees.
Row 1, feet, left, face, forward, march.
We will now award our BSOC graduation certificates. Please hold your applause until all students have been recognized. Lieutenant Junior Grade Stephen Agnone, reporting to LSD 44, USS Gunston Hall in Little Creek, Virginia. Ensign Mariegold Aloria, reporting to DDG 110, USS William P. Lawrence in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Ensign Carissa Arb, reporting to SSN 768, USS Hartford in Groton, Connecticut. Ensign Amoy Barnes, reporting to LCS 28, USS Savannah, San Diego, California. Chief Warrant Officer 2, Jericho Bobadilla, reporting to LHD 1, USS Wasp in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Sierra Braxton Lewis, reporting to Fleet Logistics Center, San Diego, California. Ensign Evan Brown, reporting to Naval Special Warfare Group 2 in Little Creek, Virginia.
Second row, feet, left, face, march.
Ensign Ife Bruce, reporting to DDG 53, USS John Paul Jones in Everett, Washington. Lieutenant Junior Grade Callan Elijah, reporting to DDG 128 PCU USS Ted Stevens, Pascagoula, Mississippi. Ensign Ian Chang, reporting to DDG 112 USS Michael Murphy in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Ensign Brittany Charles, reporting to LPD 22 USS San Diego in Sasebo, Japan. Ensign Farhan Chaudhary, reporting to CVN 69 USS Dwight D. Eisenhower in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Justin De La Cruz, reporting to Naval Special Warfare Group 1 in Coronado, California. Lieutenant Junior Grade Joseph Del Judas, reporting to SSN 775 USS Texas in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Ensign Jennifer Dennis, reporting to DDG 82 USS Lassen in Mayport, Florida. Ensign DeAndrea Elmore, reporting to CVN 79 PCU USS John F. Kennedy in Newport News, Virginia. Lieutenant Junior Grade Catherine Ferrist, reporting to DDG 66 USS Gonzalez in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Franklin Gardner, reporting to LCS 8 USS Montgomery in San Diego, California. Ensign Patrick Gregorio, reporting to DDG 121 USS Frank E. Peterson in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Ensign Ryan Grether, reporting to LCS-18 USS Charleston in Manama, Bahrain. Ensign Davin Griffith, reporting to Navy Supply Corps School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign C.D. Guai, reporting to LSD-50 USS Carter Hall in Little Creek, Virginia. Ensign Sean Harris, reporting to LHA-8 PCU USS Bougainville, Pascagoula, Mississippi. Ensign Dennis Hurd, reporting to DDG-99 USS Farragut in Mayport, Florida. Ensign Holly Jackson, reporting to AS-40 USS Frank Cable in Agana, Guam. Ensign Darren Jacob, reporting to CBN-77 USS George H.W. Bush in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Kyle Jacob, reporting to CBN-69 USS Dwight D. Eisenhower in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Christina Jenkins, reporting to LPD-20 USS Green Bay in San Diego, California. Ensign Seville Jenkins, reporting to SSBN 732 USS Alaska Gold in Kings Bay, Georgia. Ensign James Jewell, reporting to DDG-113 USS John Fenn in Yokosuka, Japan. Ensign Jeremiah Kolb, reporting to DDG-90 USS Chaffee in San Diego, California.
Forward, peace. Left, peace. Forward, march.
Ensign Silvina Cotadas, reporting to SSGN 728 USS Florida Blue in Kings Bay, Georgia. Ensign Brandon Cry, reporting to CVN 73 USS George Washington in Yokosuka, Japan. Ensign Edward Kuhn, reporting to Expeditionary Support Base 8 in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Rosa LeBron, reporting to DDG 125 John H. Lucas in San Diego, California. Ensign Zipang Lee, reporting to LHA 6 USS America in San Diego, California. Ensign Shari Mahan, reporting to AS-39 USS Emory S. Land in Agana, Guam. Ensign John McKenzie, reporting to CBN 76 USS Ronald Reagan in Bremerton, Washington. Lieutenant Junior Grade Jarrett Moore, reporting to Mesron 14 in Annapolis, Maryland. Ensign Javier Moreto Sapero, reporting to SSBN 737 USS Kentucky Gold in Bangor, Washington. Ensign Patrick Nicholas, reporting to DDG 71 USS Ross in San Diego, California. Ensign Daniel Philip Perez, reporting to DDG 108, USS Wayne E. Meyer in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii.
Row 5. Keep. Left. Space. Forward. March.
Ensign Yvonne Pretlow, reporting to DDG 107, USS Gravely in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Nazir Rogers, reporting to CVN 68, USS Nimitz in Bremerton, Washington. Ensign Maria Rojas, reporting to BN 01, Naval Base Cartagena, Cartagena, Colombia. Lieutenant Ruichi Sawada, reporting to Maritime Material Command in Tokyo, Japan. Ensign Luka Schwarz, reporting to SSN 787, USS Washington in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Ebony Sharp, reporting to DDG 75, USS Donald Cook in Mayport, Florida. Ensign Tiffany Shields, reporting to DDG 60, Paul Hamilton in San Diego, California. Ensign Keith Schultz, reporting to DDG 61, USS Ramage in Mayport, Florida. Ensign Benjamin Soderberg, reporting to CVN 75, USS Harry S. Truman in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Campbell Spates, reporting to VQ-3 Fleet Air Reconnaissance Squadron, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Ensign Justice Starasum, reporting to LHD-7 USS Tripoli in Sasebo, Japan. Ensign Stephen Trinidad, reporting to LSD-47 USS Rushmore in Sasebo, Japan.
Row 6. Keep. Left. Space. Forward. March.
Ensign Alberto Victoria Correa, reporting to DDG 111 USS Spruance in San Diego, California. Ensign Mitchell Wenthy, reporting to CG-65 USS Chosen in San Diego, California. Ensign Joseph Yakubowskis, reporting to DDG-54 USS Curtis Wilbur in San Diego, California. Ensign Tianha Yang, reporting to Navy Supply Corps School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign John Yerg II, reporting to CVN 73 USS George Washington in Yokosuka, Japan. Ensign Bingchang Zhang, reporting to CVN 74 USS John C. Stennis in Norfolk, Virginia. Ensign Yan Zhang, reporting to Navy Supply Corps School in Newport, Rhode Island. Ensign Adam Zuniga, reporting to SSN 774 USS Virginia in Groton, Connecticut. Ladies and gentlemen, the commanding officer, Navy Supply Corps School.
All right, another big round of applause for 1st Battalion. So once again, to Admiral McNeal, thank you, sir, for being our guest speaker today and for the 5 points you left us with. I want to come take your class. Can I come take your class at the Naval Academy? He's wearing the Naval Academy tie, for many of you who can't see that, so we got a special closing for you, sir. For the graduates today, it's been an honor and a privilege to lead you over the last 6 months. I'm impressed with your hard work, your commitment, all that you've put into this course, even in spite of the disruptions we've seen that I mentioned earlier. You've worked hard to get to this point, and the fleet is going to demand more out of you as you step out of the Navy Supply Corps School today. You're now going to become a part of a proud tradition, 231 years of wearing the Navy oak leaf. Once you get to the fleet, you're going to be welcomed by brothers and sisters who are there doing the work right now, and we couldn't be more proud to have you join our community in real time as you head to your ships. That's where the real proving ground is. So we're excited to keep track and follow your success. As we heard, they're going to all over the world to duty stations all over the world. So we'll be monitoring your success very closely. So now it is time. 1st Battalion Basic Supply Officer course. I certify you ready for sea. Go Navy!
Be Army!
Will the guests please rise for the benediction and the departure of the official party? Chaplain 4 will now provide the benediction.
Receive the benediction. Let us pray. God of providence, God of protection, the anchor of all who sail beneath uncertain skies and the sustainer of those whose duty it is to keep others ready to fight. Bless these Supply Corps leaders now as they depart this place and join a fleet standing watch in waters where the cost of unreadiness is not a grade, but a life. Some will stand watches in the 5th Fleet, some will track critical assets across time zones, but all will carry on their shoulders the readiness of ships, the confidence of commanders, and the safety of sailors. May they remember in the most demanding hours ahead that ours is a corps that has never failed the fleet when it mattered most. They carry that legacy now. It belongs to them. And so work through them and through this institution in the months and years ahead. May their planning be relentless, their impact be felt on every ship they supply, every flight deck they sustain, and every mission they make possible across every sea where America's Navy holds the line, from the deep to the horizon, ready to serve and always ready. Amen.
Military, cover. 2. Post the side boys. Rear Admiral, United States Navy, retired, departing. Navy Supply Corps School, departing. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes this morning's graduation ceremony. Graduates, dismissed.
Damn, that was fucking hard.
Cheers, brother.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Please feel free to take pictures, hang around, find a backdrop. We request you to park the building by 11:45. 11:45.